Welcome back to Switch to Linux with a partnership with Western Mountain Web, and we are going to be looking at WordPress pages today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start building out this demo site that has looked pretty ugly by adding some pages, and we're just going to talk about pages, what pages are, etc. Just getting into the details on all of those. So of course WordPress has posts and they have pages. So the posts are what you do for like a blog feed. Maybe you have a news update. Anything like that is kind of like regular ongoing growing content is what you would look at for those. Now the pages are more like your static website type pages. So WordPress kind of started as a blogging platform, and then people realized, well, you wanted your occasional page on there in addition to just the other blog posts, and so the pages was made. And about that point in time is when WordPress started to become a major CMS, which stands for Content Management System. And so that is what WordPress has become. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go over there and I will be logged into the dashboard, and then we're just going to scrape some data off my existing page for Western Mountain Web to build up some general pages for the website. Okay, so here we are logged into our dashboard. Of course, I have my tab opened over here, which has everything else. Again, this is looking pretty ugly. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on this menu here. We're going to add pages with real content, and we will probably not work with a sidebar or anything. I just want to dig into the pages. This is going to be pretty short, just so you get the grasp of what we're going to do. So on your main dashboard, you come down here to pages, and if you just click on this, then you will see the list of all of the available pages. So right now you'll see that I have a post page and I have a front page. So these are two very special types of pages. What these mean is that the front page will actually use a special template file in your theme, and it is called front page. And what this does is oftentimes a person wants to have different type of content on the front page of the website than they would on any other page. And so you can build out a very custom front page for your theme file in order to display just what's on the front. But then all the internal pages are going to be displaying a little bit different. And so with that, what we're going to do is I'm just going to have a look at just putting in some new pages. I'll mention the other one is the post page. Generally, you leave whatever's on your post page blank, and WordPress takes the post page and just drops all of the content of the blog feed on that. So that way, it doesn't have to say blog or anything like that. And the WordPress will show whatever custom page URL you have will be your actual blog feed. So what we're going to do is you want to hit your Add New, and this will give you a new place to add a new page. So say that you have the new page, we're going to do About. And once we do this, what you will see is automatically this permalink guy will show up down here at the bottom. This is your permalink on the page. Generally, you would want to just kind of keep this how it is. Every now and again, you might want to come in here and edit it to something else. You might say About Us. What this does is that when you go up to the top of the site and you type in, example.com/about, it will land on this page. Now, this is something that does require the HT access to use. Otherwise, what you will get is if you don't have that enabled and you have just the basic default system, then you'll see, example.com/question, and then it'll have an ID number. Let me show you what that looks like. So we're just going to publish this page. Actually, before we do that, we'll get into that in a minute. Before I do that, what we'll do is just drop some content over here, and I want to look at everything else on this particular page. All right, so the first thing is let's draw your attention to the screen options in the upper right-hand corner. Every now and again, you might look for something like who is the contributing author if you have multiple authors on your page. The slug is this permalink. That is a place where you can edit that. Discussion is allowing comments, and then custom fields. So you might need some of these features. If you are looking for a feature and it's not there, check the screen options, just make sure it's enabled or not. Let me just go ahead and enable the author so you can see what that does. So what you'll see now is that pulls down an author. Of course, there's only one item in here because there's only one user on this website. So that's why if there's some option that you think should be there and you can't find it, check that screen options first. Okay. So we'll come over to our Western Mountain web page. Of course, never really truly scrape somebody's website, but this is my website on my sample website. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in. So you'll see that it pasted in nicely. Now inside here we have this is called our TinyMCE Editor. So we have the ability to bold, italicize, bulleted lists, numbered lists, block quotes. So let me just go ahead and block quote this part here just so you can see what that looks like. So you'll do this. Now what this does is if you change from visual over to text, it's going to add some HTML elements. In this case, it adds the block quote tags. Okay. We can align left, align right, add a link, remove a link. And there's the insert a read more tag. This is the one that sometimes throws some people for a loop. But the read more tag will display kind of like what's up there on a main, like if you have on your main blog page, for example. You don't use this for pages nearly as much as you'd use it for blog posts. But what you would do is you will have some text, and then you put in the read more tag, and then you put the rest of your article down below. And then on your main blog page, then it's going to display all the content up to that read more tag. Now there will be some other options. So there is this guy here. It says toggle toolbar. This used to be called kitchen sink. I think they made it more professional in more recent versions. But click on this guy here and you'll have other options. So we have strike through. We have a horizontal line. We can adjust the text color of something just by grabbing it and adjusting the text color here. So you can pick custom if you want to enter in, some odd data amount. You can do that, or you can just pick from the more common ones. We can paste as text. This is important, particularly if you're coming from like a Word document. If you copy out of a basic Word document, then Microsoft adds a ton of weird styles that if you paste directly in here, it is going to carry all those styles in. It's going to make a giant mess of your content. So paste as text is a nice, useful feature for that. We can clear formatting. We can do special characters. So in this case here, we'll go grab any type of special characters you might need. So you can play with this to see what the other options are. So if you are looking for an option, you can't find it, double check that this toggle toolbar here is enabled. Okay, so this guy here is added by one of the plugins. So we talked about various SEO plugins last time. Then in this case here, this is the SEO plugin. Now you'll see these little arrows here. You can expand and contract these various things here. The other thing that you'll see is you'll see a featured image. If your theme allows featured images in your pages or in your posts, then it will display these. If it doesn't, then it can't. On more advanced tutorials, I'll show you how you can work with featured images inside your theme if you want to customize things. The other items you'll see are your page attributes. And your page attributes, first you can select a parent page. This will mostly allows for organization, but also allows for URL structure. So if I put this under the news parent page, then the page for this, the permalink, would actually change. Right now it's example.com about, but if I drop this into my news and I save the draft, it should change the URL. Now you'll see it says example.com/news/about. So if you want to organize things with URLs in your hierarchical structure, you want to use your parents. I don't want to use a parent for this particular page, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so it's example.com/about. The other thing is your template. Now this gun here has several different templates. This will change depending on what theme you are using. So some of your themes will have more details, some of these will have less. What these allow you to do is there are several different templates involved in your theme file, and these will determine what type of template you're using. So the default template is usually specified in your theme settings. That's going to change upon what your theme is. But in this case here, I can force it to be 3 columns, sidebars on the left. I can force 3 columns, sidebars on the left and on the right. I can do 2 columns, sidebar on the right, sidebar on the left. So I can really do a lot of different things here. So I can do 1 column, no sidebar will kind of give me a width. Now, order is something that is not often used, but if your theme supports any type of ordering, you can force the order of pages on not as much as a page displaying individually. So, again, this is not something that frequently is used for pages, but this is frequently used for posts or custom post types. You can force the ordering of a page, but it has to be supported by your theme to do that. So you'll see this order, but if you're trying to adjust this and nothing's happening, nothing's changing, it just means your theme does not support ordering. Okay, so we'll go ahead and push our publish. Let's go ahead and add another couple pages here. Let's see, what else? What other page can I steal? I think we'll get into contact forms later. Let's see. I don't have a lot of detail, a lot of information on this page. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and steal some of this. So I'm just going to say services. Now, if I grab this, it's going to give me some weird stuff if I paste it in. I'm just going to grab the first part of it, I guess. We'll call this services. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come down and just copy just the headers of each of these blocks for services. Nothing fancy. We're not doing anything good here. All right. We'll go ahead and publish this. Now, so I have 2 pages now published. Come over here, refresh this. And what you will see is that the pages do not automatically add to these. The reason is, remember that what is up here is adjusted in the menu. So when you add a new page, you need to come down to Appearance and Menus. And then now you will need to add your 2 new pages. So go ahead and add these, and then I might want to adjust things. Let's go ahead and remove this page. We'll do our services, then we'll do our about, then we'll do our news. Make sure you hit your save menu. Now, if you do want to make sure you're adding new pages, you can click this button here to automatically add new top-level pages to this menu. The danger with that is it doesn't necessarily add them in the order you want. So I always keep this disabled and just come back in and make my menu changes. So now when we refresh this, you'll see that now we have home, services, about, and news. So if I click on these, you'll be able to see what the service page looks like. You'll be able to see what the about page looks like. Now notice that we picked the default theme for services, so it has a sidebar. But on the about, we picked the theme that was full width, and so it goes all the way across. Now it doesn't go all the way across the whole screen, as you can see. And the reason for that is the theme itself limits the width out to this size, which is actually an appropriate thing. It's just kind of becoming a little bit too thin for modern computing, but it's still a sufficient size for a theme. So there is how we do that. Now the next thing I want to show you is what I was going to mention earlier. If we come down to our permalinks, if you will remember in an earlier video, we set our permalinks to post name. If we go back to plain, which is what you will have if HT access is not enabled on your server. Now, if I click on this button, it might give me a page not found. Let's see. Let's go back to about.example.com. Now, if I click on my services, note that my URL now says page ID equals 38. That is bad for SEO. You don't want that to happen. Sometimes you don't have a choice, but this will occur if you do not have those permalinks set. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that what the permalink looks like when we actually edit the page. So let's edit the about page. So you'll see here that the permalink up here says ID 36. Let's go ahead and pull this down and look at our slug. So the slug is about. This is what would show up if the post name is set in our settings, and that's what we want to do. You generally want to use post name or something else more specific, but post name is generally the best option. Note that immediately if I just go back and re-click on this, it will redirect, but if I disable it, you'll notice it does not redirect back, and that's because the page ID equals 38 is the raw form output. And so that's not super important, but that's how that works. So that is how you can adjust your pages. We've added pages, we've put in some content, we've looked at all the different items, and we have added them to the menu. So thanks for watching, everybody. And if you do want to help support us, then you can check out the page at switchtolinux.com/support, and you can learn about all the various methods that you can help support what Switch to Linux does. Also, if you check out westernmountainweb.com, and you can go over there and have a look at what we're doing over there. And if you would like consultation on a website, feel free to let us know. We do free consultations, and we can get back to you on any prices or any quotes or any needs that you might have. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux and to WordPress.